Good morning, folks. How you doing? Bert here. It has been a while, and I am super stoked about this trip we got going on today. I am in Wysox, Pennsylvania with my good buddy Seth, who's over feeding the ducks or something right now. And we are in Wysox, Pennsylvania on the Susquehanna River. And our plan today and tomorrow is to paddle from Wysox down to Sugar Run, which is close to 20 miles, I think, 18 to 20 miles. And we're going to stop and we're going to camp overnight somewhere along the river. So looking forward to this one. It's been a long time since we've gotten out. Seth and I, it's been almost 2 years since we've done an overnight paddle. So we're really looking forward to this trip here. And we have a little excitement going on here as well. We're actually going to do a compare and contrast on this trip. So I'm floating in my trusty old steed, Big Blue, my Explorer 380X, and I am loaded for bear with all the creature comforts of home. Looking forward to this one. And Seth is going to be floating my Razorlite. So this will be a great opportunity on a pretty flat river to just compare how these two boats perform on the river from a camping perspective. So this should be a good opportunity to highlight the advantages and the capabilities of both of these boats. All right, folks, and we are off beginning this paddle. Seth and I have been looking forward to this one. So there's some concerns earlier this week about the river levels and whether or not sections of this were even going to be able to be paddled. But Mother Nature came through and dumped a bunch of rain in upstate New York this week, and that has saved the river here. The Susquehanna, the north branch of the Susquehanna begins in Cooperstown, New York, and runs down to, I think it's like Northumberland or something, Pennsylvania, before it joins the main branch of the Susquehanna. So it comes down into Pennsylvania, hits the Big Bend, goes back up into New York for a few miles, and then drops back into Pennsylvania and right in central PA. Kind of runs east towards the Jersey border, and then makes another turn and heads south and then west before it connects back up to the main branch. So we are on that section that we're technically paddling pretty much east-southeast on the river right now, going from Wysox towards Sugar Run. All right, this water's moving a little bit here. Didn't really expect that. There we go, right out of the gate we get some ripples. There we go. A couple little splashes. Well, so far Seth says he's enjoying the Razorlite. Paddles nicely. It's his first time in an inflatable of any sort, so it's going to be interesting to see what kind of feedback we get from him as the trip progresses and how he feels about it. So let's talk a little bit about the boats. It has been a minute since I paddled the Explorer. Like I said, we haven't done an overnight since 22, so we didn't do anything last year. And I've been paddling not only my Razorlite, but I also have an Eddy Line Skylark hardshell kayak that I really enjoy. And I'm using the Explorer mostly as my fishing boat, where I put an electric outboard on it, or electric trolling motor, excuse me, and I usually go up and down the river where I live and fish with that, and it works out great. I put the high bass seat on here across the pontoons, 360 swivel. I've got my trolling motor, and I just go out all day. It's awesome. And now paddling this, like I said, for the first time in 2 years, loaded down with a couple days worth of gear, it's definitely more work than I've been accustomed to on the other kayaks. So just getting back in here and getting used to it. Not that it's horrible, it's just compared to, you know, my Skylark and the Razorlite, this thing, you know, it's definitely doesn't go through the water as quickly, right? And you have to, it doesn't help that it's loaded up as well. But that being said, I love this boat. I think the Explorer series from Sea-Eagle is the best boat they make. It's capable of really doing anything that you want to do. Like I said, I've done whitewater in this boat. I've paddled flat water. I've done lakes and rivers. I've done 3 and 4 day overnight trips with all of my gear. I put a motor on it and go fishing, bass fishing. So literally the versatility of this boat is unparalleled in my opinion. So take that for what it's worth, folks. So we're getting a little bit of unexpected rain here. We thought the rain had passed us and was supposed to be gone. It's supposed to clear up and be a nice day. Neither of us brought any rain gear. So there's that to consider. But right now it's just a light kind of drizzle, and hope it won't hang around too long. Oh, and did I mention that the winds are supposed to pick up? They're calling for 10 to 20 mile an hour winds today out of the west-northwest. So I'm hopeful that that will be a helping wind and pushing me a little bit, because if I got to paddle into a 20 mile an hour wind, it's going to be a long day for her. So the sun has come out. I think that shower was just kind of the last hurrah of the cold front coming through. And now it looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. Everything to the north and west of us looks pretty blue. I mentioned here that we're in Bradford. We started this in Bradford County, Pennsylvania. So where we started, as the crow flies, was only about 3 or 4 miles from the New York state line. Probably take a little longer than that to get there for the roads, but that's about what we have from where we were. We are in what's called the Endless Mountains region of Pennsylvania. And from what we see so far, it sure is freaking pretty. I mean, they're not big mountains, they're rolling hills, but it sure makes for a pretty landscape. Seth is in full-on summer paddle mode. Patch through here where it gets a little bit of current with an island. Narrows down, and all of a sudden we go from almost slack water to a little bit of movement. Hopefully you can see on the video what a day it's become. It's actually turned into a gorgeous day. I don't know the significance, but this area and this big rock here is called Standing Stone. When I read about this paddle, and when I came up with the outfitter who shuttled us, they told us about Standing Stone and this one in particular here. So I mean, they're just some big ass rocks right on the water, right? But yeah, pretty cool. Unfortunately, it's not deep enough to climb up and dive off, because that would be fun. Yeah, so I'm guessing these are remnants of glacial flow from freaking eons ago. That, you know, when the glaciers carved this valley that the river runs through, these were just kind of left behind. That is a big ass rock, though.
How much is left here?
As I said, by like glacial erosion.
Yeah, the peel away, right, of the fractured trace. You can see it right here. Like there's a whole base that got sheared away. A couple little rocks and a real big one up there.
Yeah.
And then just a few down here. And, like, just kind of ended up here.
And this, yeah, and it's just standing vertical. That's kind of freaking cool, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it is. It is. We got it. Maybe we have a little pushback.
Looks a little shallow. I'll look
Right there.
Skeg's skipping a little bit back there. Seth said he's really enjoying his little Razorlite. Little strainer there. So we just came out of a narrow channel that we were in. It was pretty long, actually. There was an island and we took the narrow side, and it was a long island. It was probably close to a mile that we were inside that little channel. It was kind of neat. Then brought us out here, and there's some pretty quick moving water around a sandbar in the middle. Next stop is, we're going to stop for lunch shortly. Should be an area up here, maybe a half mile, called French Asylum. I'll tell you a little bit more about that when we get to it. But I'm thinking it's about a half mile away from us here. We're making really good time. It's hard to believe. I mean, we've done 7 miles already in less than 2 hours. And it's been pretty easy paddling, but the water is rising because of all the rain they got in upstate New York over the last couple of days. The water levels here are starting to rise, so I assume that has the flow going a little faster than normal. So we're here at French Asylum, and it's a boat launch here. Seth went ahead of me. Good place to dock the boats, and then we come up and we'll see what's up here. This is a bit of a landmark. French Asylum, mile 260. So we started at 267. So we've gone 7 miles, 6.5 miles. French Asylum along the river here at mile 260, and we just sat down and Seth and I just walked the grounds here. We went to a little museum, we sat and had lunch at the pavilion, but essentially this was a outpost of French aristocrats who escaped France during the French Revolution and tried to go somewhere safer. And this is an area that at one time in the 1790s was fully inhabited with hundreds of people living here and a couple hundred cabins and farming and everything else. Really cool little thing that if we didn't know about it, we would have paddled right past it. But because we did a little bit of research and looked on our map and saw it, we knew we were coming up on it, and turns out to be a great place to stop for lunch and a cool place to visit too if you're up in this area. All right, folks. So we just finished our lunch break at French Asylum, and probably only going to paddle about another 3 or 4 miles. to the next island and try to camp on there. So, not sure what's between here and there, but I guess we shall see. Winds have kicked up for sure, so we'll see what it's going to be like. Right now it's a helping wind coming from behind and across, so I think we'll be okay. Okay folks, so we are at the end of day 1 of our trip, and I'm currently at the site of the old Hammett Mill at the Asylum Township Old Mill Park, right around, I think I'm at like mile 259 if I'm correct here on the thing. So essentially it's like a little township park that we found that comes down here. There's boat access, and I'll swing this around and show you what we have. But you'll see there's a kayak access ramp here, and you know, we've got the boats up out of the water, and I'm not sure we're allowed to camp here, but it's here. There was no one else, so here we are, and we're not roughing it. There's actually a picnic pavilion up there, so we set up our tents inside the picnic pavilion, and we're going to call this home for the night. Now I think we are facing the east side of the river, so the sun will wake us up bright and early, and we'll be ready to go at a quick early hour. We have 8 more miles before we're done tomorrow, and so it'll probably be an early day. We'll probably be off the water before lunchtime. So great day today. We had a mix of sun, a little bit of rain, a lot of wind, and water's moving faster than we expected, so we made really good time. And we did some cool stuff, so it's been pretty neat, and looking forward to the rest of it tomorrow. So, all right, good morning, folks. Monday, June the 10th, and we are on our way. Beautiful day so far. Let's hear about our camp a little bit. We camped at Asylum Township Park at Hammett's Mill. I don't think it was a legit campground, but that's where we were. Nice thing is there was a picnic pavilion there that was empty, so we were able to put our tents under there. And it poured rain last night, so we were totally dry and underneath. It was pretty awesome. And then the cheating part, not only did this little park have a porta potty, how awesome is that? But it was like freshly cleaned and freshened up. So it wasn't a traumatic experience to go into the porta potty. So it's little things, people, that makes a trip worthwhile. The only incident we had around midnight, a car pulled down the driveway to the boat ramp and was acting a little suspiciously, and that was kind of unsettling because we were in the middle of nowhere here, and they had the headlights on and they were shining towards the pavilion where we were camped and everything, and luckily they never got out of the car or anything, but could have been security, could have been something, who knows. Nobody said anything to us and they never came back, but it was a little bit unsettling. So here we are, we're back on the White River. It's Monday morning, about 8 o'clock. No, about 7:30 maybe. And we have 8 miles to go. So, all right, so Seth, you have about 10 miles under your belt with the Razorlite. What do you think?
I like it. Surprisingly, this is the first time I've ever kayaked on the river in an open boat.
And you've never been in an inflatable ever in your life, right?
Well, I was in that one once.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
But you've been kayaking a long time, so you know the difference. You know how decent kayaks perform.
This has great maneuverability, which I was surprised. I wasn't really quite sure to if it would have that cut,
Yeah.
but still have balance.
And it feels a little tippy, but that secondary edge, you feel like you're going over, but then it catches itself and it doesn't go anywhere.
It's almost it's tricky to even try and get it to flip.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So, and then it's got great. The footrests are awesome because usually in a in a covered hold, you got to reach under and adjust them.
Yeah.
These are so easy.
Perfect.
And you sit up tall, and the clearance on your paddle is.
What about speed-wise? How do you think it went down the water?
It cuts about the same as my
Really?
Katana.
Nice.
And the perceptions, it's not a lot different. The only difference. Well, I haven't tried to lift it myself, but
yeah,
that's the only thing I would.
Well, it's going to be lighter. It's going to be lighter than a rotomolded.
Yeah.
Last thing then, as a kayak camping boat, packing it up. Do you think did it have enough to hold gear for a couple of nights, and does it change the stability? Do you think?
Well, I wouldn't know about the stability. I've only had it packed this one trip, and it with a little up front and a little in the back. It works fine.
Awesome.
And I have everything I need. A tent, food, which you know I enjoy a lot more food. I may look scrawny. I eat all day long on the river. It's got this chair, whatever seat he has here is fantastic. You reach
so the high back seat, yeah.
So accessibility is very easy. It's got 2 pull handles here and tie downs.
Yeah. So Seth literally has his snack bag in the back seat pocket of the high back seat. And all day I see him just reaching over and grabbing food.
Pull it out like this, and what do you got? Dried apple.
He's got snacks. So Seth's also notorious for being a minimalist. So his boat looks sleek and hardly anything in it, although he does have a sleeping bag and a trash bag.
Yeah. There's enough in
Meanwhile, my boat is loaded up with all of our gear. So basically, I take care of all the logistics. In this case, I even provided a boat. And all Seth has to do is show up with a little bit of food to get him through 24 or 48 hours and something to sleep in. Otherwise, Bert's got things under control. So,
But the boat you provided me this time is excellent.
There you go. From the horse's mouth. All right, folks. So there's Seth's opinion of the Razorlite. So we came up on this little island, and it looks like there's a way through here in this little channel in front of us. It's awfully skinny water. But the map said that you see better wildlife if you take the inside route here. That's what we're going to do. Hopefully we don't get hung up, and hopefully we can get through here. Yeah, it's about 6 inches deep. Okay, here's going straight through here. Oh. No, I think we can get through here. It's just about a little sandbar. You'll get right over it. My skeg got caught. What fun would it be if we didn't get hung up once in a while? That's where you got to go to see all the cool stuff.
I love these guys. Very healthy.
Just one last push, Bert. Get her out there. There we go.
What is the odd part of the river?
I left the cameras on, folks. You can see what I go through. I didn't wear shorts, and I really don't feel like having wet pants for the next 3 hours of paddling. So, let's see what happens now. Alrighty then. Now I'm just wondering how we're going to get out of here. I'm going to try going to the left here and see. Really shallow again. Oh, this isn't looking too promising. All right, we're going to beach. Have to drag. Alrighty. Got a drag. You might be able to go out this one. The next one down, you might get through. That was some hung up stuff there. All right, we made it. How graceful was that, folks? A little drag, but you know what? Sometimes when you do those things, you see some really cool stuff. Not that time, but sometimes. Get through this. Piece of cake. Piece of cake. There's a good skinny path up there. I'm going to bust through these grass here. The river's right there. Let's see if we get through these grasses without hanging up. A little bit of rub. And we're through. All right, back on the river. Okay, folks, so this here is the Tarrytown boat launch. It's operated by Pennsylvania Fish and Boat. And the only reason I'm pointing this out is because earlier this morning when we were at camp packing up our boat, saw a guide go by. Lance from LD Guide Service went by on his boat. And I know Lance puts out from here. This is where he drops in and starts his charters from. I had the pleasure of fishing with Lance a few years ago, and he got us on the fish, and we had a great time. So if you're looking to fish the North Branch of the Susquehanna, and you want to go out with a guide and learn this river a little bit, call Lance at LD Guide Service, and you'll have a good time. Another thing about that Tarrytown launch is it marks the 5-mile mark that we have left in this trip. So if you were to come up here and use Endless Mountain Outfitters to shuttle like we did, and they brought you to Tarrytown instead of Wysox, we're doing 18 miles. But you could just come up and just do like a little 5-mile float for a couple of hours and go down this section of the river. All right, folks, well, this bridge right here, Rainbow Bridge, this thing is, we're in the home stretch. So if you follow that concrete truck, it takes you across Rainbow Bridge and it'll take you back out to Route 6. Make a left and you are in the town of Wyalusing, which is a pretty cool historic town. And for us, this bridge signifies the home stretch. We're a little over 1.5 miles from Endless Mountain Outfitters. So as we start to wind down this paddle, just give a little bit of this assessment since it's my first time on the Susquehanna. Really a nice trip, great paddle. Scenery was gorgeous. Didn't see all the wildlife that I thought we would see, but that's all right. A few heron, a couple bald eagles. Didn't see any four-legged creatures at all. But it was a really nice trip. The river can be wide. It can go from deep to shallow pretty quickly. And it's moving pretty good. The water level is coming up, so it's moving in some spots pretty well. I look forward to doing other sections of it. I mean, there's 400 and some odd miles of the river between the three branches. So definitely look forward to getting back out and doing different sections of it. Okay folks, so here's the launch. This is where we take out at Endless Mountain Outfitters. You know what that means. This is the end of another Bert's adventure. Thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed my trip on the Susquehanna.